Stop pretending busyness equals progress.
How do you think you're going to get a referral from an accountant or a client if you're constantly telling your accountant and your clients that you're really busy? Good afternoon. Welcome to UncommonCents Live, episode number 101. Thank you, Craig. We've 101. We've hit the 3 digits, as all of our listeners do know. So great to be back for 2026 to continue to have conversations both with Craig and I, sometimes on our own, and with special guest stars to continue to discuss financial planning businesses and to help advisors slowly improve over time. If we can leave one advisor that's listening today with one great idea that then they can go and implement in our business, in their business, Craig, that's a win for us. And from a micro perspective, we didn't make the Spotify top 10 podcast for 2025. Probably not going to make it for 2026 either. But our focus here, in addition to having a good time, is obviously to help some of our Australian financial advisors improve their practices. So happy to be
people we are, mate.
Correct. We're just giving strategies out. So Craig, we thought obviously New Year's resolutions for our new year, some predictions, and more importantly, actions that we need to be taking throughout the year. So throw it over to you to warm us up and tell us what you've been thinking.
Mate, let's be honest, most of these things are abandoned by February anyway, aren't they? Someone's had a good idea and they're abandoned. And if you think about that and reflect on it, it's probably not because people are lazy. Maybe it's just because the New Year's resolution was unrealistic. Maybe it was generic, or maybe it's actually disconnected from how the business actually works or a personal goal. And if you think through those, that's why they don't normally work and why by come February, it's all forgotten about and moved on. And if there's one person listening that says that hasn't happened to them, then I call BS.
I think back to our habits very quickly. And so you're absolutely right. The idea that we've lost our New Year's resolution before we've really made much progress on it is that it was too big and too hard, or maybe too big of a change to implement straight away. And the one that's not related to business, but the getting healthy diet related one, is typically it's drastically implemented in the first 2 weeks of January. And then everyone's frustrated, unhappy, and then they go back to their old habits, predominantly because the particular thing they were trying to do was way too big.
Mate, I can tell you I have taken that drastic task on this week, and I've seen a new personal trainer twice.
Good on you.
I can't move my legs and I can't move my arms. And now most listeners were hoping he'd have a workout for my mouth and then I wouldn't be able to move that. It hurts. But I'm going to stick with that one, D. But I picked up on something you said there, mate, in terms of like creating stuff and build. People are trying to, I guess, reinvent and what are we going to do? And it made me think about January in particular. And I'm not sure January should be about reinvention at all. I almost wonder whether January should be about realignment and actually going, what worked last year that maybe we were too quick to abandon?
Yeah, look, you forget the good things that you've been doing in the past, most definitely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. January is an interesting month. And for some business plans, January is just month 7 of your business plan because you run it to 30 June, perhaps. Also, January, you should know what you're meant to be doing in January before you arrive in January. And the idea that you're working on business goals, for example, you should already know what you're working on there. But when it comes to I kind of firstly talk about the human, January is a good opportunity to reflect. And really, from my perspective, that's because work is not taking up the vast majority of your headspace. And so firstly, I look at January, Craig, at the individual level. And so use that time to reflect on the last 12 months. And that's obviously going to let you think about some of the behaviors that you want to continue in 2026, and also perhaps some of the others that you want to vary over the course of 2026, not tomorrow, but vary them over the course of that period of time. One of the really great things that I've done, because we should learn from others through this process. So one of the great things that we've done in the New Year's context is actually plan the year. This is more personal than business first and foremost. But we went through an exercise where, practically speaking, we know when all the school holidays and public holidays are. We know when all the annual leave holidays that we'd like to take from a personal perspective. I planned out all the big business rocks that I know that I'm participating in, whether it's some things that we're doing or conferences, for example. I know what they are for the entire year. And that led to a lot of comfort, Craig, in terms of being able to plan the year. And so it also gave us the actions that I needed to take throughout the year to stay on track. And so that was a good exercise to sit here and say, I know what I'm doing for the year personally. When you go into the business context, I really think it's important that at a business level, what you're doing for the entire year, and whether you do bottom up or top down, but we need to know at a business level, not with 100% certainty, but I need to know all the events that the business is involved in. I need to know all of the staff movements and ideal movements across the year, for example. I need to know all of my annual reviews and when we're meeting with all of the clients to make sure that matches in with your annual leave. It's very difficult, Craig, to go, going skiing in August, and August happens to be the biggest month of the year from an annual review perspective. Those two things are in conflict, and we should know that in January, not in July when we go, I've got to reschedule these reviews that I should be doing. And this idea of taking one small thing from my world of planning the year into your business to make sure that the business is planned for the entire year and therefore resourced for the entire year.
Listening to you then, I read something last week where it said January doesn't reward speed, it rewards structure.
Yep.
And it really resonated, right? Because when you think about that, like, you get back in January, there's the inbox shock. People are starting to come back to work. Clients are suddenly back engaged again, albeit sometimes for advice, clients are engaged through their break because that's when they can think. Staff expectations are back. Business reality's back. There's this urgent sort of temptation to sprint and try and kill all that off rather than pace yourself. And just listening to you nicely articulate that, I think that when I read that, really reeking of that, it rewards structure. This is your time to set that up. And, what you really were talking about there, if you're sitting there taking notes, you want to be focused on one business lever. You want to maybe be focused on an operational lever that sits through the business. And then you, like Dean has done for his family and his personal year, watch your personal lever that you need to focus on too. And as you beautifully articulate, if you could do those things, it's amazing. That's quite a monkey off the back, isn't it? For the rest of the year.
It is the monkey off the back. And so if you've planned the entire year, and like things won't go to plan, but at least I know they won't go to plan. If you don't plan for them and stuff happens, then you just have to react anyway. But this idea that you're starting the year with knowing all of the most important things you want to get done across the year, allocating the appropriate time to do it, making sure that you're not over and underloaded at different points in time of the year, that allows you to come into the next 11 months with a lot of confidence in your ability to achieve what you're setting out to achieve. And that's obviously therefore you got 12-month goals, or perhaps they run on financial years, but still we're running with the goals, but we're actually purposefully planning out the things that we need to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. And are you still thinking, like, people back now, if they just set that 90-day focus, once they've been through January, that initial plan, what am I going to do in the next 90 days now? Like, what must be true by the end of this? Because I always feel, Dean, that, and you said this when we were off air, right? We're now over halfway through the financial year.
Yep.
So we've got results. We're running to 30 June if we've set our target for that. You've done all the planning. You've done all of this. Is it then time to execute that into, okay, what's the next 90 days actually look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of things from that, is that most businesses have a year end, which is not the 31st of December. And so We have to get our head around business versus personal. And most likely this is month 7, not month 1 from that perspective. But notwithstanding that, you're obviously still coming in and saying, okay, I'm going to do work for the next 90 days. And I'm really calling that February, March, April in terms of a 90-day sprint or 90-day project, however you want to call it. So that means that you're pretty clear on what a single project that you need to get done over the next 90 days. If you've planned your client year, whether you're busy or not too busy in this period as well. The worst thing that happens is people set goals at the business level in the same months where they have the most annual reviews. And so you've got to be clear on what you're capable of achieving in order to do it. And the 90 days for me, it doesn't matter whether it's 30 or 90, 30, 60, 90 kind of thing. But the most important thing that I've found is actually setting the deadline for the thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that deadline can be the week, the month, or the quarter kind of thing. But the idea that if I just give the health and wellness example, the idea that you go, I'm going to diet for the year is completely unachievable.
Yeah.
Okay? But what you'll find you can do is you can diet for 60 days or 30 days. You can create a deadline in which you can change your behavior for a shorter period of time because your brain, you can commit to that. Okay. What you'll find as you move through that 60-day deadline that you did, you've started to change some behaviors, and therefore you'll maintain some of those behaviors for the remainder of the year, but you've had a deadline. Okay. So some of your projects that you might be working on, Craig, could be improving the way in which you work in general. So people come back and go, I want to procrastinate less, or I want to get my file notes done within the first 30 minutes after the meeting, or I want to do these activity-based improvements to their day almost. Don't commit to do it for the year, just commit to do it for the month. Okay. Because next month, when you get to the end, you'll actually find that you started to build the habit or the behavior around those things, so it doesn't seem so large as a result.
Yep. And I feel like what you're saying there, Dean, is you don't need a perfect plan, but you just need a clear one.
Yeah, it's progress over perfection, which I know is an Instagram picture that everyone can like, for example. But the reality is that you do need to just make small daily progress to these particular goals. And if you miss a day, or if you miss a time, you go, I didn't do the file note in time that day, just don't do it tomorrow. Don't repeat the behavior, or don't repeat the bad behavior that you're trying to change. You essentially just reset and go again. And this is obviously whether you're trying a new diet, trying to do fitness, or trying to improve the way in which you're working, is we call it out. I go, I missed that one. I'm going to make sure that the next one I'm going to do better in terms of that. But that deadline and reset of the behavior, I think, is really key as we go through, because most of the January things, as we're saying, is like personal. This is how I want to show up differently in 2026.
Yep. Dean, with your permission, can I call out what I think are some hidden resolutions that people forget about, and then maybe just get your comments on each of them?
Oh, yeah. This is good. This is with no preparation required.
No preparation.
There was no preparation anyway. I have no idea what the questions are.
They're not really questions. They're more just statements of resolutions that I think maybe are a bit hidden and sometimes people forget about. And and maybe for the first ones, for maybe some of the newer advisors who have come through their PY and they're starting to see clients and things for the first time. It could also be for experienced advisors who still devalue themselves. But stop discounting out of fear.
Agreed. Stop discounting. So the themes of that is stop discounting in your head, firstly. So the story I always tell, Craig, is that you're going into that proposal meeting and you're like, oh, I need to charge this client $5,000, but not sure if they'll pay it. So this story in your head. Then you discount it in your head before you've even told the client the fee. And then they ask for a discount after that. Discounting is not something that professionals do. Lots of clients may ask for discounts, and those people that do ask for discounts probably ask their doctor and their lawyer for the same, and everyone else says no, and so you should say no as well.
Lovely. My hidden resolution number 2 is stop saying yes to the wrong clients.
Yes. And the wrong client, like the wrong clients, a couple of different categories of wrong clients. And so there's wrong clients in terms of maybe personality profiles, and then wrong clients in terms of their need or stage and things like that. And so the one that I think is hidden and not worked on the most is the personality clashes. In that if you don't feel this connection with the client, you don't have to love them, but you have to know that you're going to respect one another. There's going to be good, challenging conversations at time, but good, respectful conversations. They're the type of people that you want to work with. You've got the spider sense that this relationship is going to be imbalanced. They're the ones that it takes a braver advisor to say no to.
Yeah, okay. Number 3, and there is only 4 of these, by the way. So
yeah.
Stop pretending busyness equals progress.
So the word busy. So you ring up anyone, you're like, how are you? Blah, blah, blah.
So busy, Dean.
Oh, so busy, Craig. So busy.
Well, I'm hard to get hold of, Dean. I'm being real busy, mate.
Sorry. Yeah, I've been pretty busy too, actually, just to brag. But so we're both busy guys, but the word busy is really confusing to a lot of people. In how do you think you're going to get a referral from an accountant or a client if you're constantly telling your accountant and your clients that you're really busy? Okay, so that's thought bubble number 1, is that if we tell other people we're busy versus using the opportunity to actually tell a story. Okay, so Craig asked me how I am.
Hey, Dean, how are you today, mate?
Craig, excellent. We've started 2026 really. And if it's okay, I'd love to share a story of a client win that we've had.
That'd be great.
Great. Here's my client win. As a very...
Sounds like you're busy.
No, but I'm not busy. I've had a client win.
Yeah,
But you can choose how you answer the question, especially with clients and especially with referral partners. They don't need to know you're busy. They need to know that you're kicking goals and achieving things. If your day is full, that's great, but it doesn't mean that you're using this word busy, because no one knows what that is. So I think the opportunity for 2026 is to turn busy into a wonderful opportunity to tell people what you've achieved or something interesting that's going on in the business or your world. And it takes a little bit more time, but the conversation out the back of it is so much richer. If you tell me you're busy and I tell you you're busy, we tell each other we're busy, we might as well just go back and do our work, Craig.
Exactly right, mate. Said. And my number 4, mate, of hidden resolutions, and I really like this one, actually use the systems you're already paying for.
Yes. Thank you. I wish that I sent you this one, but this is really good. So I have this saying, if you were to get a tattoo and it says, I love X-Plan on your wrist, as my one of many examples here, is that X-Plan is costing you $1,000 a month per advisor, or probably something like that per human within your business. And if you're not thinking about ways in which you maximize that software, you're doing the business a disservice. And so the resolution definitely, Craig, is to always ask yourself, I wonder if my current tech stack can do that thing. Okay. And my rant always is that I think X-Plan and Microsoft can do almost anything you've ever dreamt up if that's your current tech stack. If you're somewhere else, you're somewhere else. But if you have Microsoft and Copilot and SharePoint and X-Plan, and you're trying to reinvent the wheel with a third system and a fourth system, that's overdoing it from the perspective of your business and the distraction that causes your business by you even thinking about those things. Okay. The advisor and the bright shiny toy of distraction is ridiculous. And so I look at lots of other industries and they just do the thing, and they do the thing really well without constantly spending time looking over the fence at other things as the bright shining light of solutions. So that we're just like we talk to clients about, that we're not talking about the product, we're talking about the strategy. And so if you have a technology challenge, share that challenge with me. Xplan, can't really call Microsoft, but you can use Copilot to quite effectively to tell it your challenge with its own software, and it'll help you. But try, please, to use what you've currently got to its maximum before you go outside of that to add things to your business. Is that enough technology rant, Craig, or do you want some more?
That's enough technology rant, mate. And that is the end of my hidden resolutions that people forget. Boom, tish.
Absolutely. So thank you for that, Craig. That was fun. My question for you is, in the people and team context, as a leader and manager, how do you think we should be talking to our team in January to help set them up for success?
Mate, I think everyone's come back and everyone's had a different experience of a break, right? Some might have been good, some might have been bad, some might have been indifferent, and they're all just lobbering back into the office now. And I think you need to be very careful not to just make it feel quickly BAU. I think it's a good time to actually get those individuals, take them out of the office, find out what's happened, feel where their energy level is, see where they're sitting and where they're at, and then what do they want to achieve between now and June. What's on their plate? What can we clear for them? What do they want to get done so we can just make sure we empower them to go and do that? And it's just that little tweaky reset, right? A lot of people are in that position where they're running to June. That's normally their reward period as well. And so you've had that break time. I certainly personally you don't want people to come back in and just feel like BAU. Or we left off there. We had stuff on. Now we're back. Let's just get stuff on. I think it's a good chance to early take them out, find out what's going on with them, see where they're at, work out how to help them, work out how to reset, and then kick in from February with a really strong run to June.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you be setting individual goals, performance goals around this type of time of the year, like finding out what both inside and outside work, like, is this something that you'd think is a great conversation to have?
Mate, that's horses for courses for me. There's some people that are just leave me alone, let me get on with it, and you've got them there because they do an exceptional job, but that's what they want to do. And then there's others that are going to need that kind of support. The interesting part is what epiphany has someone had over that break? And therefore, what support do they need to get that done? To me, I don't think there's one hard and fast rule there. I think you got to start to more deeply understand your people, deeply understand how they interact and behave and how they get things done versus how things block them, and set them a clear path. And then you're going to have the ones in the bucket you said, right, we need a couple of goals because they need accountability and they want to go after it. Spend the time with them doing that part. The people that don't need that have that general energy and that can run and are normally at 10 out of 10 in terms of their energy and what they're doing, I think you just got to let them run. They would have had stuff going on up to December. That would have gone on a break. They'll know what they have to pick up when they get back.
Yep.
So let them do it. Create an environment where they let them do it.
Yep. And my two questions, really simple questions that I give people, is what do you want to do more of in 2026 and what do you want to do less of in 2026? And that is the open-ended question of just help me understand where you want to put your energy. I want to do more client meetings, or I want to do this, and less of, I need to do less admin, I need to do less busy work, whatever it is. But that opportunity to sit around in a room in January, early-ish, but you haven't missed the opportunity to do it next week. You don't have to do it now, but ask your team these questions, and that's valuable insights into where they want to put their focus and where, as a business, you need to help them take away those things. Because if humans don't want to do a thing and they've told you they don't want to do it, but it's important to the business, there's someone else in the business that really loves to do that thing. And we should find that person and let them do the thing. There's definitely opportunities both ways in that regard.
Yeah. But my advice would be is, if you're going to have those conversations, have them out of the office, take them out of the work environment, more comfortable environment, better open chats, and the ability to relax and just actually genuinely talk to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listen to understand them. Like, actually think through what's going on for them and actually listen to them. Don't have preconceived ideas that you feel like you just need to get off your chest and move on.
Yeah, true. And you've got to, if you're asking someone, then you're asking, is it okay that I bring this up again, and have a little bit of tension around the accountability? And then obviously as a leader, you've got to deliver on that as well. If you offer to hold someone accountable, then you've got to come back and make sure that you are holding those people accountable.
Yep. Mate, that might be a nice place to wrap us up. So I think what I hear from a lot of the things you've discussed today and we've discussed is, what are we keeping? What are we letting go of? And maybe what are we doing in terms of setting a clear plan that's going to make us feel lighter for the rest of the year?
Yeah, definitely. That light feeling is really comfortable and allows you to do your best work when you don't have things on your shoulder that you're worrying about. Very well. So thank you, Craig, for joining us for episode 101. Thank you to our one listener that took one idea and is now going to implement it in their business. Congratulations on getting that one idea. For everyone else, please also take one or two ideas and go forth and implement that in your business as well. And we'll see you throughout the entire year of 2026, but just in 2 weeks for the next episode. Thanks very much.
Bye, everyone.